First question. Having recently completed a primary campaign, what was a major issue you heard from Howard County residents, and how should it be addressed? Mr. Ballinger?
I guess I'll start to show off tonight. When I go door knocking, something I feel very strongly in doing because I feel like I'm able to connect with our students, with our families, and with our community. Fiscal responsibility. Our need to control an out-of-control spending budget that deters us from being the best county we can be because of the raise in taxes. I think families want to know that they're getting a quality education, but doing it in a fiscal responsible way. And I think one of the things that I would do, and I'll promise you this, is to make sure that we have the quality of education in the classrooms, but yet your dollar is my dollar, and I want to spend it prudently. And I will do my best to make sure that budgets in the future are fiscally sound and education responsible.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to address that question? Ms. French?
I've heard a number of things. One is, how are we going to achieve the race to the top mandates? And the answer is, we'll do the best we can, but it's all a work in progress. The state has certain mandates, and they are forming committees. We have staff who are joining these committees to provide input from the board, and the board is participating through MABE, the Maryland Association of Boards of Education. But we are in the process of beginning this process, and we are, that's repetitive, but we are going to need the community to work with us and to give us insights as to how we can meet the race to the top mandates, particularly the one that will use student growth in academics as a part indicator of teacher performance and evaluation.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
As I've traveled around the county and talked to people, I hear a number of different concerns. And one of the things that I think it really boils down to is communications. A lot of parents, whether you're talking about the Northeast and the need for a new school site, aren't clear what the county is doing to provide for a new school for the desperate need in the Northeast. Whether you're talking about the Cradle Rock situation where parents didn't know until late in the game what was going on there, whether you're talking about parents who have students who aren't making, who aren't passing and doing well academically. There are a number of resources that are available, but we don't do a good job of communicating to the public what the school system is doing and or where to find resources to help or support their children.
Thank you. Ms. Kornreich and then Mr. Mishkin.
I have talked to a lot of people walking around my own neighborhoods, walking around neighborhoods with friends of mine, and in and around where I live, I would say the biggest issue is the Northeast overcrowding issue. And the first 4 people I talked to on one weekend said to me, we need a high school for our community. So the kids get split from one middle school to 2 high schools, and they feel very, very, very strongly that that is tearing their community apart. The other issue that I have run into a lot of people because of my son is the special education community, who feels like we can really do a lot better for our kids with special education needs, and return to them some of the resources that we used to provide that we really aren't anymore.
Mr. Mishkin and then Mr. Aquino.
As I've traveled the county, meeting with various different community groups and organizations and neighborhoods, one of the unifying themes that I've heard, though each community has its own specific detail, is their feeling about a connection to the school system and their ability to be involved and have input in the decisions. Whether it's school overcrowding, whether it's principal accountability, whether it's concern over the budget, I think we're all facing a difficult time. You know, the economy is in a difficult situation. It's the greatest recession since the Great Depression. And families are struggling. They know that their kids are struggling. They know that there are challenges that we're all facing, and they care about our schools. Our school system is the crown jewel of Howard County. It contributes more to our property values, contributes more to our future than anything else. And people want to know how they can help. And they want to be engaged with more than just their tax dollars. They want to be able to roll up their sleeves and be involved in the process, and they want to have more input. And I think that's something that we could really contribute to.
Mr. Aquino?
Aside from regularly being asked why would I want to do this job, I think the major thing that comes out in talking with folks around the county is we have such a great school system. How can you even think about continuing to improve the school system? And the bottom line is the same way we got here, from the standpoint that we've never accepted that good enough is good enough. We're always seeking to improve. We have a very dedicated staff that pushes themselves relentlessly to improve. Continuous improvement, providing services to our students on an individualized basis, and never accepting that good enough is enough.
Thank you. Ms. Valancourt?
The overwhelming thing that I encounter when I'm talking to people about the schools, if they have children in the schools, they're very concerned about whether the teachers are spending an inordinate amount of time preparing the kids to take these standardized tests that Mrs. French was referring to for the state mandates and the race to the top, and the tests that were born of the No Child Left Behind law. As I said in my opening, these laws were written and with the idea of improving failing school systems, which Howard County wasn't and isn't. Unfortunately, we have allowed the testing culture to become such a big part of our curriculum and the way our teachers are forced to operate their classrooms, that the teachers are frustrated, the students are frustrated, the parents are frustrated, and ultimately I believe that the quality of the actual learning that's taking place in our schools is declining, and we need to take our schools back from the testing culture. Thank you.